Welcome in, everybody. Greg's Weekend Rental. Today we have to talk about Xbox 360. We are now 6 months from the official online store closure, and maybe this will come as a surprise to some people. Maybe it won't come as a surprise to some people, but you probably remember the big bubble that was taking place, I guess, over all of 2024, honestly, as we were leading up to the store closure. That bubble has burst. Xbox 360 prices have come down. We found out no one actually cares about Xbox 360 again. The bubbles burst, prices are down, and what we have today are several prime examples. I didn't cherry pick anything. I just went through, I think, 10 games here of ones that were, you have to buy it now before the store closures and the prices were going through the roof. I wrote down about 10 examples. We're going to go through, see what the price was at the start of January, or January 2024, from the peak pricing we saw in 2024 to what it is now exactly January 2025, 1 year after the fact.
Yeah.
So just to start off here, we'll talk about the future of the games if we think it's going to hold up, what the future of 360 collecting is. It's a big 360 episode, so if you love 360, this is the one for you.
Yeah.
So
if you don't, leave now.
yeah, like PS3 collectors need not apply. Like,
Yeah,
you got all your own issues.
Do those exist? I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, PS3 isn't exactly hot either right now.
Yeah.
These are very good. If you want to collect, like, the prices are low. Or prices have come back down a lot. But anyways, did you end up buying 360 during the boom, during the hype, during the bubble?
I can't say I did.
Not a single thing? Didn't?
No, I didn't care at all. I mean, you know, I have great memories of 360 and I played lots of great games on 360, but I never felt really enticed to collect it.
Like the full set bug never bit you?
No.
360?
No, it never did. The only thing I really liked on 360 was like, you know, Gears of War and Halo and kind of the mainstream titles, but I never had that itch to collect them at all. I just never felt 360 was kind of a fun console to collect. I don't know. It was always GameCube.
Okay, is it like the genres of games? Because I mean, we got more into the open world shooters, third-person shooters, like that. You know what the 360 is? Does that just not resonate as much with you?
Maybe, yeah, and maybe I was just a bit too old to kind of feel that same nostalgia for those games. You know, I was already in my teens and kind of starting university at that point, so it's like I don't have that childhood, you know, rose-colored lens of that era of games.
It's fair. I did a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I loved 360.
Yeah.
I started going down the rabbit hole of, like, you know, probably circa 2013. I was picking up games like Cold-Step Saga because it was like, even back then it was, you know, buy this game. This is rare collector title. Back then it was $20 or whatever, but the 360 games were worthless. Any 360 game being worth $30 was a collector title. So just because I loved 360 so much, I did start going down the rabbit hole. But I mean, by the time this boom rolled around, like, I had already almost done my entire, like, wow, 360 is amazing. I don't really need this stuff. So it came around again, and I'm like, no, like, no thanks.
Not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't want Cold-Step at 30, I certainly don't need it at like 180 or whatever it hit during the spike here. But speaking of 360 examples here, again, they're in no particular order. It's just games where everyone, or YouTube cycle, the hype cycle was saying, buy these games now. And we'll start off with Bullet Witch. January 2024, $37, peaked out at $102. Now it's all the way back down to $41, which is almost a full retrace here for the first game. Most reviews say the game isn't good. They say it sucks, actually, or even the so bad it's good era of or type of video game here. I just don't know if this game's going to do anything except for the fact that it is a female protagonist. And I know it sounds weird to say, but you see it with the Pokemon cards, you get that waifu effect. Games kind of have this same thing where Dead or Alive Volleyball is like sought after. Female video games kind of get a collector base of their own, as weird as it is.
That's honestly, that's kind of in art too.
Oh,
like,
is it?
I see that in comic art. Yeah. There's like the 3Bs or whatever. I think
Do we need to get into
you can speculate on those three letters all you want.
Oh,
but
perfect.
I know there is like a specific segment of collectors who will go after that kind of art, and it's often like, you know, the skimpy, like Conan the Barbarian type stuff. And so,
it's a niche within collecting. Whether you want to say it's gross or perverted or whatever, it is a niche that people target.
Yeah.
So Bullet Witch now, it's back down to $41, which honestly, for any 360 game to be holding a $40 price tag is pretty good. I don't know if it'll go much lower just because of that female boost.
Yeah. And it's funny, every time you say Bullet Witch, I think you mean Bayonetta.
Guess what? When I was looking up reviews, it's like, Bayonetta also exists.
Yeah.
Because it just did like it better, I think. Or it was in, I don't remember the years there, but it's like, it's in that same vein where Bayonetta is just the better game to buy, to play, to own.
Yeah.
Obviously not valuable, not a collector's item, but you know. Yeah. And that's the thing with this 360 boom as we go through games here. Like, this didn't hit anything popular at all. It was truly people like
it's the really niche stuff.
Very niche stuff.
Yeah.
People almost scrounging to find the nichest, rarest games they can find on 360. And you just, once this starts happening, you start going down all this hidden gem and discovery takes place. And it's nothing unlike what we saw with N64, Super Nintendo, NES years ago, right?
Yeah.
This is just the natural progression of console library discovering years after the fact. What, we're coming up on 20 years for 360 here.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
And it's funny, we had a recent boom in PS1 as well for Alien Resurrection.
Yes.
Yeah, like someone makes a video about this game and it's like, oh, maybe I should get that. Maybe I should buy that.
Discovering, these libraries are so big that this discovery just has to happen in waves. It's just kind of how it goes.
I think that's a more organic way of kind of growing the
desirability. The making a video is versus, this is organic though. It's a natural, like the store closure is organic.
Yeah.
Now the price action that takes place isn't.
Yeah.
But it's an organic thing where it's like, we're 20 years post, we're shutting down our store. Do with that whatever you want. Now, did we have people buying up, hoarding, scalping? Like, maybe. But the actual action itself is just what happens once 20 years pass.
Yeah, but I think more in the price action of it.
Yes.
Is the short-term FOMO.
You see inorganic action.
Yeah.
Because of the action.
Yeah.
The next one, I doubt you've ever even heard of this game. Infernal, Hell's Vengeance.
Oh.
It went from, you can bring up the Google here so you can at least see what the cover art looks like. I'll probably put up a picture just to help people out as well. You don't even get there we go.
It's not the game I was thinking of.
All right. It started at $14.50, so literally worthless. This has been worthless since release date up to the store boom thing, and it went up to $139.
Wow, CIB.
Yes, we 10x'd.
Jeez.
And now it's down to $52. So it is higher than it was because it was literally worthless to begin with. But even like Price Chart says 52 right now. We know Price Charts is a lagging indicator. The actual most recent sales on there are more like 40. I don't think anyone cares about this title outside of that FOMO, oh my God, collect this game right now. You'd never even heard of it.
I was thinking of Dante's Inferno.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, cool game. Dante's Inferno.
Cool game.
Game that could have a little bit of collector interest.
Yeah.
This Infernal Hell's Vengeance, though, I don't know if we'll go back down to $12 because once a game enters into certain price ranges, price memory takes over.
Yeah.
So once you always have collectors and stuff, it'll be like, it'll always be $20-$30 because remember when this was 100? This is a collector's game. So I think it will always hold up a little bit just due to price memory.
Yeah.
The next one actually didn't collapse like much at all. This is the one that held up the most, and it's probably the most unique game on the list so far. Tornado Outbreak, published by Konami, where you actually play as a tornado. It's kind of in the same vein as Katamari, where like you are the tornado, you have to go around and like you keep getting bigger by destroying certain things, and it looks and sounds very unique.
It sounds like a neat game. Yeah.
Never owned this game, never played it. I just had to like look at reviews and stuff because, again, when this 360 thing was happening, when people are mentioning all this stuff, I just like collecting. I like video games. I'm like, what is Tornado Outbreak? Like, why do people care? And this actually looked unique and something that could remain in the cult classic kind of territory. But pricing, January 2024, $28, ran its way all the way up to 98, and then only dropped to 69. And I think this is... Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, the actual sales are around 60 on Price Chart, most recent. But this is, like I said, I think this one could actually keep up a bit.
Yeah, because it has some quality. Maybe.
The reviews are mixed, but it's interesting. It's unique, which I think gives it the nod. Because in a world where we have third-person shooters, racing games, all this stuff, seeing an actual unique idea is it's kind of rare on 360.
Yeah, and I think being tied to Konami helps a bit. There's kind of that
publisher boosts. Yeah. Publisher boosts are a real thing, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like we see it with Atlas is probably the most famous example. If something's Atlas, it probably just gets a boost. Yeah, Konami is definitely
because there are specific subsets of people who will just collect Atlas games.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and when you see Konami on a game, it's like, hey, that might be something.
Yeah, might be cool. You know, they went out on a limb to publish it, so it might be good.
Yep. It helps a lot more than, yeah, it's funny. We should just talk about publishers one day. How it's like certain publishers are lumped in with just like being garbage, even as collectors games, even if the game itself is like decent.
Yeah.
But like certain publishers just get hurt on the collecting side.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
That's a good topic. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll mark that one down.
Mull that one over a little bit there. The next game being Darkest of Days. This one went from $30 all the way up to 90 down to 60. And that's what it seems to be so far with these is a lot of these games either triple 5x in value and then either cut in half or go down like 30%. So Darkest of Days, it's holding up decently well. This one has been always like, I know it started at $30, which for a 360 game isn't nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it started at $30. Oh, it was worthless to begin with. For a 360 game, it wasn't. This was one that people already knew about to a certain degree.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say, like, this was a popular game. None of these are popular games.
No.
This is diving deep into the collector realms of 360 here. But it shows where people were searching for hidden gems. I hate using that phrase, but hidden gems.
Yeah.
The next game, Wet. Welcome to the female protagonist again here. Yes, that is the title. It's called Wet. Published by Bethesda, though, interestingly enough.
Is it a yellow cover?
A bit? Question mark? Like a bit. It's very beigey sandy.
Yeah, beigey. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that now. I can't say I played it.
No, me neither, but I actually did remember this game from when it released. Like, I remembered this game existing.
Okay.
Went from $24 all the way up to $80 and crashed back down to $40. And again, there's lots of sales under 40 on price charts as well, because it probably is just going to sink further. I don't think, again, Wet does anything interesting. I think it's just another first-person or third-person shooter, which the 360 is absolutely flooded with them, which leads to a lot of identity crisis, I think, with a lot of these games, where, okay, Wet has a female protagonist again, so is that enough to differentiate it from the swarms of other crap?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not. And it's... Again, it comes back to this same Xbox 360 like notion in my head where it doesn't have that same collector's appeal because it's not like Nintendo or PlayStation where it's as established and has these like funky cool brands and mascots. And
are we too early?
Well, that's probably part of it.
Like, are we too early on 360?
It could be, yeah. But I mean, I think Wii comparatively is a lot more collectible. The same era, you know.
Nintendo Boost.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. Nintendo Boost. Is PS3 more collectible, though? I don't know if it is.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you were very quick to that. Okay,
I don't think so.
it's purely just the Nintendo Boost, then, is what's keeping Wii more relevant.
Yeah.
Because Wii also, like, it's not that collected.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't.
Yeah, but, you know, it's funny. At the same time, when I see, like, a sealed first print copy of Twilight Princess on Wii with the 0 code, I'm like, that's cool.
Well, factory sealed, sure. Factory sealed 360 is also it's a completely different conversation we've been having.
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that, how the sealed collecting market reacted to this. I have a feeling it wasn't as much as CIB.
Incredibly indifferent.
Yeah.
These games that we're talking about here, like Wet also went up factory sealed. Bullet Witch went up factory sealed.
Yeah.
But we didn't see, the sealed market revolves around like Gears of War, Halo, Assassin's Creed 1, the biggest titles released. They didn't care. This wasn't a sealed thing.
Yeah. And I guess that makes sense because, when you have a store closure, it's like, oh, if you actually want access to play these games.
This was gamers affecting the market here.
Yeah.
Like, this was your gamers.
The CIB segment is going to be the one that pushes things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one here, Fatal Inertia. Again, this is one where years ago, people were like, oh, keep your eyes open for Fatal Inertia. But it started off at $14. So it was always worthless. But it was like, if you were in that, get this before it becomes expensive in like 2013, people were talking about this game. So, I mean, it had an 11-year runway. I guess they were right. It did become expensive.
Yeah.
So,
eventually you're going to be right.
Wait long enough, right?
Yeah, that's right. Wait long enough and you'll never be wrong.
You might be right on it.
You might be right at some point.
I told you guys. $14, January 2024. Like I said, worthless forever. Pumped all the way up to 126.
Wow.
Almost a 10x on it and jumped down to 61. And all of the most recent sales on Fatal Inertia are sitting in the $40 to $50 range. It's a high-speed racing game. It's, I don't know, kind of looks like Wipeout a bit. Kind of looks like... I I guess Wipeout would be the... Like, I don't know. I've watched gameplay and stuff. It doesn't look like it's doing anything...
It's more futuristic.
Yeah, just a futuristic racer.
Yeah.
You're in like a hovercraft.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't look like it does anything all that interesting.
Hmm.
So I never... Like, I owned it. I played it. Like, right? I was doing 360 many years ago. I did not care for it at all. It didn't matter. Published by Koei out of everyone, which is weird.
Yeah. And that's a, kind of a retro game collecting publisher too. So.
Yeah, you'll know those people if you're into the retro game scene for like Nobunaga's Ambition and like the RTS games.
Yeah.
So for them to be publishing a futuristic racer, just weird.
Yeah, it is kind of out of their
why is your name on this game?
Yeah.
I don't think Fatal Inertia will even hold up. It's a bad genre. Like we talk about collecting genres, racing is not a good genre for collecting.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's when you get to those kind of cool crossover racers like Mario Kart and F-Zero, you kind of like...
The racing game had better do something interesting.
Yeah. Can't just be a car on a...
or a hovercraft.
Or a hovercraft,
it just isn't gonna... That's my personal opinion. I think Fatal Inertia, given that it started at 14, we still have a ways to fall.
Yeah.
I just don't think people care.
Yeah.
The next one is, and always has been, rare. You might be aware of it, you might not be. Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage #2. So I, for the longest time, didn't even know Ken's Rage got a sequel.
Oh.
Because already Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage is a niche 360 title.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know anyone who played that. I've never owned it myself. They sequeled it. So of course, the sequel is rare as heck. Always has been. This is our first game here where it's actually starting at $60, January 2024. And again, I know $60 doesn't... Who cares? That's very expensive for a 360 game, especially CIB.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an expensive game. And it jumped all the way up to 181.
Wow.
And fell back to 104. Which,
That's still pretty... honestly, it held up better than I thought it would.
Yes!
Yeah. It's the power of anime titles, I think.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps because it's an established IP outside of video game collecting.
Yeah, legendary
so you have a
anime.
little bit of... you have a little bit of cross appeal there for people coming in. The 4 most recent sales are all below 100. So it probably has a little bit of ways to fall there. But this is like a top 5 CIB most expensive game now on 360. Speaking about 360, maybe just being early, maybe being not collectible, $100 is like peak 360 pricing.
Yeah. It's pretty generous for a 360 title, not sealed.
It's also cheap, in my opinion. When that's it. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
It starts
as an overall hobby.
Yeah, it starts at 0 and ends at 100, and you can have almost any game. Yeah. PS2 has lots of games crashing over $100 now. It's interesting. But we drop down, and I do think this will hold. I think if you buy a copy now, you're safe. I think you're safe with Ken's Rage.
Yeah.
Like you said, the anime appeal is too strong.
Yeah, it has enough IP power.
Versus every other game we've talked about, it's like, yeah, this is more expensive, but like... sometimes when something is more expensive doesn't mean it's like worse to collect or worse value or has, like, yes, obviously it has more downside, but they also are more expensive sometimes for a reason. Going into Oni Chinabra. I don't even know how you say this.
Oni, is that even spelled? I don't even...
I might have spelled it wrong. I know, in the notes, I might have spelled it wrong.
Let's look it up.
But it's Oni Chinabra Bikini Samurai Squad.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, you know this one's expensive and you know exactly why. Make no mistake.
What's that? What are those 3 letters?
Make no mistake. We know why this one has value.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
There's a trend here. So started at $44, went up to 98 and is at 59. And this is the only game I looked up here about these examples. This is actually trending upwards.
Really?
As of like October, November 2024, it is up in value. It went down to 50 and now it's up to 60.
Wow.
And
well, it's just those 3 letters.
I think it just has great, compelling gameplay, personally.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
This is a collector title that should be valuable, of course. But I think it holds up. If I'm going to rate this one again, I think it holds up. I don't think you're going to see this be a bargain bin title anytime soon, ever, just because of what it is. And again, it's very, very unique. And having a unique game on these generations gives it a lot of staying power.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, besides the overly scantily clad cover, it does look pretty cool. Like it's, as far as like 360 covers go.
This guy's in. Of course he's in. Look
as far as 360 covers go, it's not like terrible,
It's unique.
It's unique,
And
yeah.
it fits into like it's M-rated. There's blood. There's gore. It's
Of course there is.
Yeah, it's a genre that is collectible.
Yeah.
Again, it sounds kind of funny, but you get into this like adult hack and slash, scantily women. Like it's collectible.
Yeah.
As weird as it is.
One-chan Bara.
Yeah, so I was right. Onechanbara, or however you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think it holds up.
Yeah.
I don't see that one ever becoming a budget bin title in the future.
Yeah, I mean, when you kind of look at it, you kind of think like, oh, maybe that could be something valuable, just because it's like flashy and like all over the place, and
Yeah, call me crazy, but another thing, like I think certain cover arts or certain games do just look collectible.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that is a 100% a thing.
Especially when you're like, browsing eBay and you're looking at thumbnails and it's like what stands out to you.
Yes.
Something like bright and colorful. It's just like, that must be valuable.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something. Certain game design, certain character looks. It's just like, that looks like something that's expensive. Fatal Inertia doesn't look like something that's expensive. Onechanbara? I mean, like, I get it, I get it.
Get it on a few different reasons, yeah.
The next one as well. Like, this is, speaking of, it's so hard because it's like, is my brain trained to think it's expensive? Or did it look expensive even before? But Coldcept Saga. Another one that's always been sought after. We talked about this a bit just earlier there, but went from $30 to went from $40 January 2024 up to $144, down to $90. This is Bandai Namco published here. Again, a very niche genre game. It's like a card game combined with board game.
I've heard about that. I've heard it's actually a good game.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So Coldcept has a few different entries in the series. Maybe Saga is the last one that exists, but when I sat down to play this, a single like game or a single round took like 2 or 3 hours. So I was just kind of like,
It's a big time
it
investment.
was a bit slow for me. Yeah. So just even trying to get through like the tutorial match was, an hour plus. And I was just like, I don't want to do this again, was my takeaway.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to like Bandai Namco publisher, a very niche kind of genre, very unique experience on the console. It's sitting at what I say right now, $90, holding up quite well. It's funny too. I say it's holding up quite well. We're still down like 30-40% from peak. Like, holding up quite well means it's not down 50 to 70 or a full retrace.
Yeah. So if you miss the boat on some certain games, you might still do okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And it is a great looking cover. Like, I mean.
No, I know. It like I said, right?
It's like that looks like a valuable game.
Exactly.
It's got a dragon. It's got a guy throwing cards. And it's
Bandai Namco in the corner. It's just like, oh yeah, this game has something going for it.
It's got everything you want.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think, again, if you buy that game, it's not just going to crash. Like, I don't think Coldcept Saga is going to...
Yeah, it kind of has a history a little bit as a collectible
it does.
game.
It does. It's always been in the Xbox 360, like, pantheon of...
Pantheon.
I knew it. Panties on. Like, what have we been talking about all day?
It's
like
3 Bs just distracting you, man.
God damn it. But yeah, I think Coldcept and Ken's Rage, if I had to pick two, and that Onechanbara. Like,
of course. You need that one,
Unironically, I do think that holds up. Those will probably be the best ones there. So just going through all those examples, though, 360's absolutely come down. You can enter back into the market, I think, at this point. Prices might come down a bit more in the future, but like at that point, I think you're more gambling. Like, are prices going down or up in the next year? I don't really know. But it was easy for me to say in 2024 that prices were going to come down from the peak. If you bought beforehand, great. A lot of those games did hold up. So, I mean, it was right. Buy them before they get more expensive. They did become more expensive. If you bought in January, though.
Yeah.
If you bought during the bubble,
maybe you should have sold sooner if you didn't.
It's just like going through all those titles and how much they jumped up to. Is 360 going to get back to those spots?
I mean, I don't think anytime soon. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't.
I can tell you just want to let loose on 360 here. Yeah, tell me how bad it is.
I don't want to collect 360. At the same time, I would consider buying a few sealed titles, but again, probably the more mainstream ones, the ones I played and loved, the Halos, the Gears of War,
Forza's even. Like, I played Forza a lot myself.
Yeah, Forza was great. But as far as like CIB collecting, I don't see myself collecting CIB disc-based games unless I want to play them myself. And I think if
That's
that were,
all disc-based, hey? You're just like not really into the
yeah,
like
it's
CIB disc chase?
yeah, it's just, I mean, unless I see an opportunity.
Is it too easy?
In a way, yeah, because everything is, you're gonna assume
Everything's CIB.
Yeah, everything is CIB. The case is impervious to most forms of damage. They all have their manuals for the most part. It's an easy. It's more of an easy chase than cardboard games.
Oh, night and day, right?
Yeah.
Like versus cardboard, night and day.
And there's lots of GameCube games I could see myself rebuying and playing. Like I love the library. There's a lot great games. I would happily buy a few to play.
Fair enough, because I like doing sealed as well. I do sealed 360 to like a degree. I have sealed Fallout 3.
Mhm.
I still need to get Gears. I have Halo 3. A lot of the games that were monumental on
Mhm.
360. But those are the games I want to buy.
Yeah.
But chasing after a $5 copy of Fallout 3, who cares? It's not fun. It's not even exciting or engaging. It's just not anything. Like Call of Duty 2, right? Like even Black Ops or Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2. Love those games growing up. But you can get them for $5 at any bargain store any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see it being kind of a fun hunting console. Like say you're going to a flea market or something and a guy has a bunch of 360 CIBs and maybe you find Called Sega for $5.
That's where I think most of the enjoyment comes from.
Yeah.
It's always weird with this because it's like how many people enjoy these games versus just enjoy searching for them. Yeah. The hunt. I think the hunt of 360 is more fun than a lot of these actual titles that have value.
Yeah.
Speaking of ones that have
It's
value.
not much of a compliment.
It's not. It's a lot of those games. Like I said, I looked up reviews for all the ones that popped and it's like this game sucks, this game sucks, this game sucks, this game sucks.
Yeah.
So you're not going back to play these. They're interesting for the novelty of being interesting and rare,
Yeah.
quote unquote,
Right.
rare. But
Rare,
outside
yeah.
of that, it's tough for these games to even get back to where they were. Like, why would Infernal Hell's Vengeance ever pop again in value?
Yeah.
I don't think that game will ever have as much attention on it as it had for that month. Period.
Yeah, it's true. I think you'd need some kind of special case for there to be another short-term FOMO saga. Like some kind of a famous YouTuber makes a video on this game.
I was going to say, that's like the one thing that I think could revive it, could change the narrative around a lot of these collectings. Because it seems like certain consoles become cyclical based on what's popular on YouTube or what's popular on Instagram. So maybe in the future, we'll see a new collector come up on YouTube. He's 19, 20 years old, and he makes amazing 360 content. That would be something that could really revitalize the market.
Yeah.
Or the console collecting base.
Mm-hmm.
If something big, like Scott DeWaz with Wii U, I think he had a lot to do with helping the Wii U market be very collectible. When he was making amazing Wii U content, I think he was going after every game. But once you have, it has to exist.
Yeah.
It has to exist in the mindset of the collectors.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 360 right now, if you want to get in, it is not in the mindset of collectors.
Yeah.
It is back to being an afterthought.
Yeah, and I wonder how much time it will take for it to come up, or will it?
Will it? That's the thing.
Will it? Honestly, I don't see Microsoft being in the console game for 2 more generations.
And that could also completely kill people's interest in going backwards.
Yeah.
Because if we talk about new collectors entering into
It's
the
like
360,
Atari, right?
yes, well, it's like Sega.
Sega, yeah.
Right? Who's going back now to buy Genesis is even dying out as a console collectible. Dreamcast is very niche. Once you lose that modern console that keeps bringing people backwards and discovering the library, the collector market dies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. You do need some kind of cross-generational appeal.
The pull.
Yeah.
You got to pull in new people who want to go, oh, I love Xbox. What did Xbox make before?
Yeah. And that's why, things like Pokemon succeed so well because it's embedded in
going right in modern.
Yeah.
Then you move your way back to what are the Wizards of the Coast era? Then you move your way backwards. It's the natural progression for a lot of collectibles collectors.
Yeah.
360. I don't know, man. If you want to get back into it, go for it. Prices might come down further, but I don't. That's what I got to say about 360. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but prices absolutely crashed from the bubble. So if you've been thinking 360's gone, it's back to being pretty affordable. I would personally get into it again if I wanted to. I don't, so I'm not. But let us know how you feel. What do you think about 360 collecting? What's the future of 360 collecting hold? Make sure to like and review if you're listening to the audio, and like and comment on the YouTube. Appreciate you guys listening.